Hi Flosstube, I'm Rachel, Stitchy Rach here on Flosstube and also on Instagram. It is Friday the 15th of April and this is a YouTube channel about cross stitch. Hi everyone, thanks for coming along and spending some time with me today. Thank you for seeing what this is all about if it's your first time here, and thank you for coming back if you are a returning viewer and subscriber to listen to yet more Rachel waffle about cross stitch. This is a channel where I talk about my cross stitch and just anything else that pops into my head, but mainly cross stitch and a little bit of knitting. This is my second time recording today. I recorded earlier and just tried to transfer the file from the camera card to my computer and it wasn't there. So I don't know if I didn't hit record or if there was a gremlin in the works, I don't know. But it was gone. So here I am again. So it was late when I recorded the first attempt at this because I have been in the garden all day. And it's even later now. It is after dinner. It is 7:15 at night, hence the wine. Had a glass of wine with my dinner. I had a gin and tonic as well, so this may be more flowing than usual. We'll see. Because it is a public holiday here in the UK. It is Easter weekend, which means we have a 4-day weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday, and then the children are back to school on Tuesday and we get back into the swing of kind of life. Last time I saw you 2 weeks ago was the 1st of April and it was snowing in Kent, and today I am in my t-shirt, I am in my shorts with my pasty legs because it has been a bit of a mini heat wave, and that's partly why I was late recording the first time, because I've just been in the garden all day trying to tame my vegetable garden, and I think I am slowly winning. It got really neglected last year for a variety of reasons. Partly obviously the children were at home until mid-March and then went back to school for like 10 days and then they were off again for Easter, and I never really got on top of the house or the garden or anything, and so some beds didn't even get used last year and they're just so overgrown. So we've been attacking them and pruning back the herbs. The hyssop was out of control. Anyway, hence also the hair. Oh, just made it even worse. Hence the hair, because I've been outside all day, so I just shoved it back to come and talk to you. But I've now also had dinner, which I made some really nice kind of French puy lentils with vegetables and halloumi, and the kids are bleh. But anyway, you know, such is life. So what I have to talk to you about today, this is going to be quite quick, to be honest, because there hasn't been a lot of stitching since I last saw you. It's been the Easter holidays, so there's no kind of out and about and club stitching. We've been doing a lot of holiday things, and we've also been away for 4 nights and 5 days, so that kind of really impacted how much stitching I've been doing. And to be honest, we're halfway through April and the rest of April isn't looking particularly stitch friendly either, because we've got guests for Easter weekend. Next weekend we're at a party, actual grown-up party, and the weekend after we've got guests again. And even before we went away last weekend, the first weekend of April, we were at a party. So I feel like we're party animals. This is very, very unrepresentative of our life. So what can you do? I have been in the garden. So last time I filmed this, a couple of hours ago, I had really struggled to get the soil out of my fingers. There's still a little bit there. It's much better now because I've done some cooking. I couldn't get it to focus last time I filmed either. Can you focus on my hand? No, but anyway, they're quite mucky nails with quite chipped nail varnish, so do excuse them. I was going to paint my nails before doing this, but then it was too nice a day to sit inside and paint nails and wait for them to dry, so sorry, you have to deal with my chipped grubby nails from the garden, and also plaster on my thumb because I was using secateurs in the garden and grabbed my husband's by accident and couldn't be bothered to go and get mine, and because they're too big for my hand, I've now got a massive blister on the inside of my thumb, which is quite sore. What are you going to do? So, hold on. So today, as I say, not huge amounts. This is going to be fairly quick. I have 2 finishes, 1 stitching whip, 1 knitting whip, a very brief plans bit and a giveaway and a teensy tiny bit of haul, and I won't necessarily do it in that order. Okay, let's crack on. Finishes. So, as I say, we went away for 4 nights and 5 days. Initially to the in-laws for a couple of nights, and then we went on to Alton Towers and we stayed in the Alton Towers, one of the Alton Towers resort hotels. So all 5 of us were in one room. The kids like had this curtained off bit. And it was quite a good curtain actually. It was quite what do you call it? Had like blackout lining. So it did make it dark, but you know, 3 kids in a small space and they're just like talking to each other and messing around, and you're like, go to sleep, and they're like, we are. And should you have the temerity to even whisper to each other, they go, we're trying to get to sleep. So anyway, so it was mainly a couple of nights of sitting very quietly in quite a small hotel room, but I did manage to get 2 finishes, and these were on my Lizzie Kate Flip It yearbooks, and I started these for the whole series as part of my Stitch Mania in 2020, and I only had November and December left to do, and I have finished both of them. So first of all, November, and there it is. These are all stitched on a 28 count Permin linen from XG Designs, and a few years ago she did collections for each season, and this was part of, all these fabrics was part of her spring collection. So I think I got 7 or 8 pieces of fabric in one bag. So they don't have names, they were just part of this like spring kind of grab bag she put together. So there it is, purple. And if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I thought I'd lost the charm. Can you see that squirrel? He's a charm. So I lost the charms for September and October and never found them. And I need to do a bit of a Google search to find something appropriate. And then I went to stitch the squirrel onto November and I just couldn't find it. And I was like, oh no, I've lost these ones as well. But I'd actually put them in a little Ziploc bag to keep them safe and just had overlooked them. So they're fine. This was done using all the called for, which was mainly thread, which was mainly Weeks Dye Works, with a couple of colours of DMC as well. So that one's November. And then I also finished December. And there's December. And while I've got them here, I may as well, I think, show you the whole series. I might, once I've ironed them, take photos of them all and do it as a highlight reel on my Instagram, but I will see. And I haven't put these on my finishes highlight on Instagram yet because we were away when I finished them and I wasn't sure what date I started them. So again, I need to take some photos, perhaps once they're ironed, and stick them on my finishes highlights reel for 2022. This is finish number 4 and finish number 5 for 2022. Anyway, there's January. As I say, I started all these in 2020 and I think I finished January in 2020 as well. There's January. Got February. And again, I think I also finished February in 2022. In fact, I know I did because we went to France and I was stitching it then. So there's February. As I say, these fabrics are all from the same collection from XG Designs. Here is March. I think March is probably my least favourite. And on the other side there is April, but I do quite like April with that bunny and that carrot. Awesome. April. Then May and June are on this kind of yellow. There is May. And June is my favourite. I just love everything about that one. I love the strawberries, I love the bees and the beehive, I love the toadstools. Love June. June's my favourite. Here's July. And July isn't quite as charted because there was a big stars and stripes on July and I didn't really want to stitch that because obviously not American. There's August. September, which I've lost the charm for, and October, which I've also lost the charm for. So I'll have to do a bit of Googling to find those charms, but I'm really happy with how those turned out. I have no ideas as to how to FFO them, so if you have any suggestions, do let me know, but I'm sure I will think of something. But I will move them out of this now extremely tatty project bag. I don't know if you can see that, but the plastic's coming away on both sides. It's all ripping at the top. The like net stuff's just coming down. So yeah, that's one for the bin. That's been in service a long time. But on that note, I will do my first giveaway. So I have the full set of these Flip It yearbook charts. January to December, it's 6 charts. Each chart has 2 months in it. They are used and they are my out and about stitching, so they are not in mint condition, but the charts inside are not marked at all. They're completely clean. I don't mark my charts. Obviously there's no charms with them because I've either used them or lost them, so you would have to source your own charms. But if you would like to win this set of 6 charts, comment below and tell me what your favourite month of the year is and why. And I will use Google Random Comment Picker to choose a winner, and I will be searching for the word month. So please make sure, if you want to use this, if you want to win this, you use the word month in your comment. A few quick rules. Please be over 18 so you can send me your postal address. Please don't say giveaway, prize, freebie, competition, anything like that. I want a stitcher to win this, not the bots. If you do mention a word like that, I will have to delete your comment.
Daddy, can you do my hair?
Did you hear that? Daddy, can you do my hair? And yeah, I think that's it. Is that it? Yeah. So please say month. Oh, sorry, no, one more thing. Please be a subscriber. And please like this video in order to be entered for the giveaway. But yeah, month in your comment, and I will pick a winner on Friday the 29th of April before I next film my Flosstube. Wow, traffic in the hallway and lots of shouting. So yes, that was my Lizzie Kate series finished. So I'm really pleased with that. Me. I'm just going to pop all these back in the project bag, otherwise it's going to be a mess. It's just going to be a mess. This room is such a mess. And we've got guests that are supposedly staying in here tomorrow night, and honestly, one day I'm going to spin this camera around and show you the state of this room. It's like washing all over it. There's loads of cross-stitch stuff that I haven't cleaned up from past Flosstubes. There's a big pile of junk modelling stuff for one of my kids to take to school when they go back to school. There's fabric, there's dyeing stuff, there's fabric, there's general craft stuff. It's a big old mess. And I know last time I filmed I also said that I would have some fabric, dyed fabric to show you, and I don't because we went away for 5 days and I've just been busy with holiday stuff. But I'm kind of halfway through, so I've fully cleaned the fabric that I'm going to dye, and I've made the dye. So I'm really experimenting with natural dyes from my garden. So I have made a dye, and it's currently just sitting in a pan in the greenhouse because I've got no further than that. But hopefully by next time there will actually be some dyed fabric to show you. Okay, so there are my finishes, and then I have one stitching whip to show you, which is Bouncing Babies ABC by Lucy Heaton. If you've been here before, you've seen this before. It is a massive alphabet sampler. I'm not stitching it as a afghan, I'm stitching as a sampler, and I'm currently stitching block A, once I've finished block A, I only have 8 squares left to do because I'm a middle starter. So I started at P and I worked outwards. And this is all I have stitched from my evening stitching since the start of April, and it is not an impressive showing. So here is where I am. I said April, there's just been a lot going on. I just haven't got very far, and when I haven't been out, there's also been quite a bit of life admin, and yeah. So I know I said I was going to have a monogamous April, and I still am, but I was hoping to get 3 squares done on this, which is now looking extremely ambitious. So if in the next half of April, which is what, 2 weeks and a day, if I get this block and half another block finished, I will be extremely pleased with that. This is Bouncing Babies ABC by Lucy Heaton. You can get it on her website. It's stitched on 36 count white linen by Zweigart. So it's Edinburgh linen with all the called for DMC. And if you've been here before, you'll know this is one of my focus pieces for the year, and I am determined to have this alphabet finished by the end of 2022. So, yeah. So that was my stitching whip. So as I say, not that much to show you this week. We're only at 15 minutes. Right, I also have, it's getting dark as well, I'm starting to lose the light. I also have my knitting whip, which has had a little bit more love actually, because I was knitting in the car when we went away. I find it easier to knit than stitch in the car. It is Grady Fady by Becca Anderson. It is available on Ravelry, and it's knitted in Schopel Wool Zauber Perlen. And it's a bundle that has 7 mini balls, and they fade from one colour to another. So my fade is white to green, and this is where I am. So let me find the stitch marker. So last time you saw it, that purple stitch marker is where it was. So I've done a fair old amount since you last saw it. I have finished colour 2 and I've worked my way through colour 3, and I'm now going around with just colour 4. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I mean, obviously on probably the hottest day of the year so far, what you want to be thinking about is finishing your knitted cowl, because I mean it'll just get loads of wear immediately. But yeah, really happy with that. Really growing in confidence with my knitting, really enjoying my knitting. Yeah. So that's my knitting whip. I'll have to remember to move that stitch marker. I'm glad I didn't move it straight away last time I filmed, because that would have been a disaster. So that's that. I will talk extremely briefly about plans. I need to find a new out and about stitching piece for my whips. I haven't decided what that's going to be yet, but obviously the new term's starting in a few days. There'll be more out and about stitching clubs back on. Having said that, in the summer, you know, it's not dark, it's not cold and wet, so I tend to do less because the children that are hanging around I often take to the playground or something, so there may be less out and about stitching, but there won't be none, so I need to pick something to do when I'm out. I'll be continuing with my Bouncing Babies ABC for the rest of April, hoping to get that apple finished and maybe another square, maybe. That would be splendid. I'm also continuing to kit up my Stitch Mania. November and December, I think I said, was started as part of Stitch Mania 2020, and having finished both of those means I'll have 2 more free slots for my Mania this year. So I am planning at the moment 7 new starts for Stitch Mania, and I'm in the process of kitting those up. I will talk more about Stitch Mania next week because I just wasn't in a position to show you stuff this week, but hopefully next time I see you I'll have that more ready to go. I think Crafting Kirsty asked me in the comments from the last video, do I stitch on my Stitch Mania pieces outside of May? And the answer is, in theory, yes. In practice, So some do get quite a bit of stitching outside May, and some have literally only been stitched on the day they were started. I think that's partly because I've got the two big projects, the alphabet and also the peanuts blanket, that I really want to finish. So a lot of my stitching goes on them rather than having a rotation of all my whips. And also over the last few years I've stitched quite a few gifts, which obviously have a deadline. So again, that just takes up stitching time away from things that you start in May for yourself. So I'm hoping once I get my two big goals from this year completed, that all those pieces I start in May and that I love will, you know, form some part of some sort of rotation and get a bit more love. So there are my plans. A tiny little bit of haul, and then I'm going to go because I'm losing the light. This is the second time I've done it. It's getting late. So the first one is the latest from the Year in the Woods series from Cottage Garden Samplings. This is the ferret. I'm on the auto ship for this with Peakside Needleworks. So he's cute. Looking forward to stitching that. She says, having not started any of them. I also got my Classic Colourworks Thread of the Month from Lakeside Needlecraft. So they send you 10 Classic Colourworks every month, and they just work through the alphabet until you have the full set. And I really, really like getting these because, particularly not living near a in-person needlework shop, if I want to do a colour conversion, it's really hard to tell from pictures on the internet what's the right colour. So I like building my stash of overdyes so that I can, you know, pull as and when I need to. But anyway, here are what came this month. I'm just trying to, they've got all jumbled. Anyway, it's Calico Kitty. No, don't focus on it. Let me find something. Have I got some white paper? Probably not. I won't have anything as helpful as, you know, something that would actually... Okay. So it's Calico Kitty. Got Campfire. These are all showing pretty true. The light, although a bit gloomy, is showing the colours quite well. Caribbean Waters. As you can see, I'm in the seas at the moment. Candy Corn. And also Candied Yams. And these are so similar in colour. You see how similar they are. Candy Corn's obviously got a little bit more yellow in. But otherwise, extremely similar colours. Cashmere. Kind of a grey, a purpley grey. Carryberry, which is bright. Don't know what I'd use that for. Caramel. Just a lovely golden brown. Camouflage. I like that green. It's kind of a khaki green. And Cappuccino, which is very pink. It is kind of that pink. I don't know if all skeins of Cappuccino are that pink, but that one is very, very pink. So they're my Classic Colourworks Thread Club threads. And then the final little piece of haul is part of my Stitch Mania kitting. And I wanted to try some sulkies because I've never stitched with sulkies. And loads of people rave about them, so I thought I would give it a go. So again, I knew I wanted to stitch in blue, but I didn't know what blue. So I just kind of ordered a load of different blues from Sulky. So these are all 12 weight cottons, and I'll link the Sulky UK website down below. So I've got, there you go, and this one here, this one is a blendable, and I've actually decided, I think, that I'm going to stitch the Stitch Mania piece that I bought these for in this. Don't focus on me. Let's try the piece of paper. Where's that piece of paper? There. So, if you can see, it's variegated. I'm going to stitch my piece in that, I think. And then I got a few more. As I say, I just bought kind of all the blues to have a look at next to each other. It is hard to tell on the internet. So, yeah. That's basically pretty much, apart from the more kind of turquoisey blues, all the blues Sulky do. So I'm excited about those. I'm really excited to try some Sulky. So yeah, we'll see. And that is about it. And I'm going to go, because as I say, second time I've done this. And yeah, it's getting on a bit. I know it's been a quick one, but I didn't have an awful lot to say this week. I hope you enjoy your Easter bank holiday weekend, if you're in the UK. I just hope you have a good couple of weeks if you're not. Don't forget to enter the competition. Thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping by. If you can put up with the I think I just said about 6 times in under a minute, so sorry. But thank you for stopping by. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. I hope if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, you might, and give me a thumbs up and enter the competition. And otherwise, I will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye, Stitchers.